Hey there, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I am bringing you a message from a difficult morning that I've kind of had around having a difficult conversation. And the reason why I want to really share this with you guys today is I am hoping that it hits you at the right moment where you might start to kind of look at what kind of conversations you're currently avoiding in your life that are really preventing you from accessing your potential and really making you neglect your potential if you're being really open and honest about it. And so really, today's message is the fact that avoidance of difficult conversations is neglecting your potential. And we're all human beings and we all do it. We want to avoid discomfort, we want to avoid pain, and we want to try and seek pleasure and gain comfort, right? Human nature. And we're all guilty of it. Sometimes it works out for us, other times it's really not working out for us, and it's actually getting in the way of us reaching our potential. So the example that I have to share with you guys today, and the really difficult conversation that I had to have today, but it's definitely paid off, and I've been kind of stressing about it, and definitely kind of got myself over the line with it, and with some help and support from other people in my life to really just go, you know what, deal with it, right? So, and we kind of all need that at different times. So what kind of happened for me is over the last few months, I've had a particular coach working with me in my life, in my business. And over our time kind of together, we've had a couple of little ups and downs in terms of, and I've spoken to you guys about them if you've been looking at all my Facebook Lives, but just kind of in the expectations, weren't really seeing eye to eye in terms of what the expectations were and what was being delivered. And kind of getting to a place last time I chatted about this connection, I had taken it upon myself to take more responsibility. So, and realizing that nobody can help you in your life over and beyond what you have clarity over them being able to help you with. So you've got to know, you've got to be intentional. You've got to paint the picture as to how somebody can be successful with you. And coaching is a great way to be able to dive into that as well. It's why I get so much feedback from anybody who works with me, so I can make sure that value is being over delivered and expectations completely exceeded. But we all work differently. And my particular coach who I've, invested in for my business, he works in a different way than I do, So we all kind of coach in the way that we want to be most coached, I feel. So anyway, I've had a difficult conversation with him in the past, it really helped things get ahead, and I took more responsibility and blah, blah, blah. And then I've gotten to this point again, though, where for me, it's kind of tied into integrity. So when you say something, I want to be able to rely on that happening, or else don't say it, right? So that's kind of where I found myself, and I felt like there'd been a lot of promises, but not delivering on those promises, and things weren't adding up. And I'm not the kind of person who wants to feel like I got to chase you up and follow you up. If you say something, I trust that you're going to deliver on it. And if you don't deliver on it multiple times consistently, we're going to probably have a bit of a problem, and I'm going to have a difficult conversation, which I absolutely hate doing because I'm a human being, but had to have this difficult conversation today. And as I already know, every single time we open up and we get vulnerable and we communicate openly with courage and with integrity and with intention, it's always going to work out the best for us, right? It's when we avoid having those difficult conversations that they stack and stack and stack and stack until, this small thing that didn't really work very well becomes a bigger thing and a bigger thing and a bigger thing and a bigger thing until we explode, or we just go our separate ways and we don't actually give an opportunity to deal with the difficulty and make some changes, make some shifts and readjust. And so had to have the difficult conversation this morning, and I'm so grateful that I did, because from here we've generated more flexibility. I've given him an opportunity to actually grow and expand and make things better, rather than avoid the difficult conversation, make up some story, stay stuck in experiences that stack and stack and stack and create this kind of disharmony in this story that drive a wedge between between you and reaching that next level of your potential, them and them reaching their next level of their potential. And instead of doing that, take the wedge out, open it up, have the difficult conversation, and test some new strategies out, and have a more depth of a connection, and have more honesty and more openness, and more trust is established. Every single time you have that difficult conversation, you re-establish trust, you go deeper, you feel like you can be more open with somebody, and you open yourself up to a new realm of reaching that next level of your potential. So it's always beneficial, but what comes with, the greatest steps in our lives is always probably a little risk, a little struggle, a little challenge, a little pain, but, we all know the saying, a little short-term pain for some long-term gain is kind of the name of the game. So that's kind of what I had to do today, and like I said, I'm grateful that I did, but that's in a business dynamic and coaching relationship. But also where we really fall down the most with this is in our intimate relationships, in our friendships, in all those really close connections. We avoid having the difficult conversation because we believe that it will create more pain than staying the same, right? And we've all heard that saying as well. When you realize that when the pain of staying the same starts to outweigh the pain of change, you'll make the decision to have the difficult conversation. You'll make the decision to make the changes. You'll make the change, right? So instead of getting to that point, though, I would love for us to have a higher level of self-awareness and courage to address the small things whilst they're small. Throw the baby out, throw the dinosaur out while it's a baby, or the monster out while it's a baby, instead of letting it grow up and expand and stack until it's this huge thing to deal with. And because you haven't been open and honest about those things and all the little things that have been stacking, you've diminished trust, diminished self-belief and trust within the self, for not following through on the things that are right, and you kind of end up killing something that could be really great and obviously neglecting your potential. So I'm hoping that me sharing all of this with you guys today is going to firstly get you thinking about where in your life right now, because we've all got something, right now, are you avoiding having a difficult or a seemingly difficult conversation with somebody in your life? And identify what is that conversation that's not being communicated about, and realize this: if you think it's kind of small and insignificant and not really worth talking about, please reflect over your life and reflect back to the moments in time that we've all had where we didn't address the small stuff and they stacked into this big thing and ended up killing our connection and ended up creating this huge drama, rather than it being just this small thing that we could have addressed and could have made some shifts and changes so that it could have been just a kind of normal conversation, not a big World War III kind of conflict, or something that you ended up pulling away and leaving this relationship behind because you weren't willing to address it, or they weren't willing to address the small things, and then it just stacked and you had these stories going on about one another until you ended up just going, you know what, life would be more simple if they just weren't in it, and the amount of connections and extraordinary quality of connection that had the potentiality of manifesting into reality, that could have happened, right, that we end up throwing away or running away from because of our own lack of courage to address and have the difficult conversation in the moment. That scares me, and I hope it scares you as well. And I hope that you will make this level of commitment to the connections that you have in your life right now to say, you know what, I value this connection over and above the slight short-term pain that I might experience for its long-term longevity and depth of connection and reaching our potentials individually and together. I value that way more than me staying stuck in my limited fears in this moment. And so I'm going to choose to have the difficult conversations before they get too difficult to have, and I've killed our connection and I've killed our potential. So really hoping that this is resonating with you guys and absolutely inspiring you, maybe giving you the kick up the butt that you might need right now, to just have that a little bit of courage. Get intentional. Have a vision for where you want things to go. Be honest about what's not working for you. Don't expect them to be a mind reader and know what your expectations are. Instead, get clear on what they are and have the courage to communicate. And a little side note, from the work of Dr. John Gottman, which is whenever you address, something that's a negative, some sort of criticism, make sure you have 5 positives. Before I went into this conversation with my coach today, I got clear on what's working, what's actually working first, and now what's not working, right? And then be able to address it in that order. Hey, this is everything that's working currently. This is awesome. On the flip side, these are some of the things where I feel like we need to make some shifts and changes. How do you feel about that? This is what I'm thinking. This is where I would love for us to go. Get intentional, so you're not putting people in defense mode and criticizing them. You're actually being intentional. Hey, my intention for this conversation is for us to be in this higher place than we were before this conversation. I love where we could be going. I see this potential. I see what could be really extraordinary. Here's all the stuff that's going really well and awesome, and I love this. And here's where I feel like if we could tweak this could get us, these obstacles could be overcome and we could actually get to a higher state. Get intentional, get courageous enough to invest in your potential instead of neglecting it because you're too fearful of having the difficult conversation in the short term so you can reach your long-term potential for yourself and the other person. Hope this is supporting you guys. I definitely want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. Let me know, where in the world are you tuning in from? I always love getting to connect with you guys. And if you've got any questions or comments or any words of wisdom that you'd love to share with us all today, now's the time. I want to check in with you guys. So I've got Stephen and Lucy's here, and Jolene and Sam, yay, and Patty and William, hello to you, my friend, and Brian. Hey Vanessa, as always, thank you for all you do. Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you so much for showing up and being here. I always love your presence. And Judy's here, and Sam, thank you so much for your kind words as always, my friend. And Gary's here, and Ethan, and Mitchell, and Sam. Yes, we're creators of our own reality and destiny. You got it, my friend. But we can so easily fall in the trap of having all these expectations as to how others are supposed to get us to where we want to get to, instead of being able to communicate about that and take responsibility for where we want things to go and not expect other people to be mind readers. We're all living our own subjective realities, and we have to have a way of bridging that gap, and that gap bridging, the way to bridge the gap is through communication. Courageous communication, intentional communication. So love that, Sam. And Natalie's here. And Thomas, sometimes you just have to lower the boom on somebody. That's true as well, Thomas. And my coach, he was really appreciative for me to just be open and honest about, what wasn't working and how I saw things being tweaked and shifted and changed to get to where we both want to get to, because it's not fulfilling for him to not have me progress, and it's certainly not fulfilling to me to not feel the progression as well in that dynamic. So you've got to be able to bring down the boom sometimes, and as he put it, give him a bit of a kick up the butt, so that he can make sure that he's delivering, because he wants me to be a long-term client of his as well. So if things aren't working and I don't give him an opportunity to see that, he's going to lose that client. And that's why I value your feedback so much, because if I don't know what's working and what's not working for you guys, like I can't deliver on it. I can't make things better. I can't progress. I can't exceed your expectations if I don't know what they are, you know? So anybody who's done any work with me knows how much feedback I'm constantly getting from you guys so that I can absolutely ensure that. So love that. Definitely Thomas, and Adrian's here. Hello to you. And Sam, integrity is my virtue. Love that so much, Sam. Integrity is everything. You know, if we can't trust that your words are going to align with your actions, you know, like there's nothing that kills connection and relationship more than that, in my opinion. So absolutely, I love that, Sam. And I like ironing differences before they become mountains. I love how you put that and articulate that. That's so spot on, Sam. Totally resonated with that. And Victoria, great to see you, beautiful. And Frank's here. And Ariel, hello. And Sam, I love your authenticity and vulnerability, standing up for your truth. Thank you so much, Sam. And it's so funny, like the people who are closest to me in my life, like I'm quick to get into truth. I'm quick to get into vulnerability. It's not easy. I mean, it's not hard for me to like address the issues ASAP. And if you're really closely connected with me, you already know that. Like, you know, if there's a problem, you're absolutely going to know about it. But, you know, when they're kind of different connections, it can be harder for us to like, it's more challenging for us to like put it all out there, and because we worry about like upsetting people and rocking the boat, and, you know, we're not sure about how they're going to handle it, and we need to get over that. And realize that people-pleasing kind of behavior is driving a wedge between you and reaching your potential, and them and your connection. So absolutely. I love that, Sam. Thank you. And Ariel, it's so hard to trust in people. You know, I have the kind of opposite effect at times. Like I feel like I put all my trust in people, and then I'm like, oh, okay, better take a step back here, better take a step back there, and then, okay. You know, but most people, most people it's kind of like hold back until you prove that I can trust you. And I'm not sure, I think either side of coming to that equation has its challenges, has its drawbacks and benefits as everything does. But, you know, at the end of the day, what I've found is that we can only, our lack of ability to put our trust in others is generally because we're not trusting within ourselves. If you have a strong trust within yourself that you can handle the inevitable challenges that are gonna come up in life, and when we're in relationship with anybody, whenever there's another person involved, we can't control them. So we have to have a level of trust within ourselves to be able to handle however that person ends up coming into that dynamic with us. So think about putting your trust in another person as first and foremost about putting your trust in you about how you're going to handle however they come to that equation and operate. Whether they end up having high levels of integrity, and you can absolutely, you know, see that they align their words and their actions, or they don't. But at the end of the day, you've got to have that trust within you to be able to handle whatever the circumstance is. So whenever you're having a struggle in putting your trust in others, always know it's a reflection of the trust that you have within yourself. So think about it that way, and I really hope that supports you, Ariel. And thank you so much for sharing. And Tavis is here, and awesome. I'm loving that this was resonating with you, Victoria. And hello to you, Danielle. And Ty's here. And Sam, do you do your termination clause in case it doesn't work out and lose out on your investment and resources? Yes, that's true. You know, and definitely, you know, the name of the game is to be prepared and be intentional and be smart about it. And sometimes we have to have experiences in our lives to identify the value in having like a termination clause, or however you want to put that as well, Sam. Absolutely. I'm totally in agreement with you about being smart. And Aaron's here as well, and Lauro and Rob, and Aaron from Michigan. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. And Dwan, always great wisdom. So grateful to hear that, Dwan. Thanks so much for being here. And Aditya. Namaste, Vanessa. Good morning. Unfortunately, I'm unable to do a payment to register for your amazing masterclass because it is not accepting my Visa debit card. Oh no. Do you have a payment account or other online payment option? Payment account would be quite helpful. Awesome. Aditya, I will reach out to you and give you the options. I know that there can be some challenges with different cards because I'm an Australian business. American cards or different cards from different places can have problems, but if it's a Visa card, it should absolutely be accepted. So I will reach out to you and we will sort that out, and I cannot wait to share with you the very first monthly masterclass. Oh my God, it is super value packed and you'll get instant access to it as soon as we work out that payment arrangement. So thank you for letting me know, Aditya. I'll be in contact with you today and can't wait to have you in the community, my friend. And Sam, I love that being intentional and visionary and expressing authenticity without fear or favor. Boom, you got it, my friend. That is what life is all about. Being more authentic, up-leveling, being open, being courageous. Absolutely. So thanks so much, Sam. And Elias, hello to you, my friend. And Patty, invest in your potential. I love it. It puts you in a position of power. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely, Patty. So spot on. And love that that was resonating. And Jeremy's in the house. I love it. And Sam, how do you assess a coach if that's the right fit for you? Yeah, we're all different. For me personally, I go based on feelings. So whatever feels right. If I can pick up on your level of genuineness, I can see that you have my best interests at heart. I generally want to look at your values as a coach. And definitely, the reason why I coach in the way that I coach, and if you've been a coaching client of mine, you know how that is. I have a particular structure and I do it that way. And I want to make sure that my coaching client has my back. I have their back. I want them to know that I have their back every step of the way, that they can call upon me. So I set up my own coaching programs in that regard, but not everybody coaches the way that I do. I kind of wish that at times that they did, because I want to have that constant feedback, that constant conversation, what's working, what's not working, all of that sort of stuff. But depending on how you're wired and what your values are, and having clarity over how you like to be coached and what would work for you, you've got to come up with that structure for yourself. For me personally, all about feedback, all about connection, all about genuineness, all about authenticity, all about action steps and creating a system, and all about feeling like my coach has my back every step of the way. Not just in our session, but outside of that. So the more clear you are, the more able somebody is able to deliver on those expectations for you. So you've got to take that responsibility on for yourself and get that clarity. And sometimes that clarity comes through experience in the moment, having bad experiences, having good experiences, working out what works, what doesn't work. And that's why I do get all that feedback from my clients, so I can tailor it, make sure that every step of the way they're not falling into the feelings of what I've kind of had, which is like, oh, is this working out? I'm kind of questioning this. That is like my worst nightmare as a coach, to have a coaching client think like that. So definitely got to work it out for you, and stay open to the conversation and the experience of testing different things out. So thanks for the question, Sam. Hope that helped. And German's here. And Bob, most people do not want to face the deal with the facts or the mirror reflection. So true, Bob. That's why when you can find people who do, you hit the jackpot, right? So I love that, Bob. Thank you so much. And Victoria, I'm realizing the more I know myself, the easier it is to relate to others and work through things. So spot on. So take the time every time you hit with a kind of uncomfortable challenge or difficult conversation or whatever it might be, take the time to go within and absolutely learn more about you, get more clear within you. And you're totally spot on there, Victoria. It's going to be so much easier for you to relate and be able to have those kind of conversations and connect and work through things with others. Boom. Love hearing that. And Natalie, I'm so grateful that you loved today's live. Thank you for being here, beautiful. And Nancy's here. And Caroline and Ryan and Sean. Awesome to see you guys. And I really hope that today's message has hit home for you. it's resonated with you, and it's going to remind you, maybe that kick up the butt, to stop avoiding the difficult conversations and actually have the courage to get intentional, get clear about what your expectations are, what your needs are, have the courage to communicate openly with another person so that you both have the opportunity to grow to a new level of your potential. And definitely, remember, whenever you've got something that you want to address with somebody, give them 5 positives for every 1 potential negative. You will open them up. You won't get them in defense, and get intentional about the vision of where you want to go and communicate that as well. It is the pathway forward. And stop expecting people to be mind readers. We're all living our own subjective experience. So last little comments before I sign off. But Sam, so inspiring and empowering feedback. Thank you so much, superstar. I honor and appreciate you. And likewise, my friend, so much appreciation and love for you, my friend. And thank you so much for your questions, and grateful that that was of value. And Meh has just joined. Grateful to have you, and catch the recording and get a ton of value from today's message. And Jeremy, gotta love those uncomfortable conversations. Always appreciated how direct you are. Amazo. Thank you, Jesse. And I know we've had our own fair share of difficult conversations. So I'm so grateful for you. So much growth taken place, and you're just a superstar, as you know. And Aditya, thank you so much for starting such vital classes at such an economic price. That was so kind of you. Aditya, you are touching my heart, my friend. I can't wait to share them with you, and I'm so grateful that it's accessible for you. That's really what I wanted to do. Instead of just having coaching at this high price point, I really wanted to make it accessible for everybody. $19 a month is an absolute no-brainer, and I hope at this stage of the game, you guys know my game is all about over-delivering the value, so know that that will absolutely add maximum value to you. And I'm so grateful that you're going to be joining the team, Aditya, and Rosita's just joining. Hope you catch the recording and get a ton of value. And Aditya, thank you so much for your great day wishes. Wishing you the same. And as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining me live and connecting and joining in the conversation. I love you guys. You give me so much energy, and thanks so much for your intelligent questions and words of wisdom. They always light me up and add to our community and everything that we're building and co-creating. So sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow.